Hey, what's up guys? This is Nick at BarBend.com, and today I'm going to be comparing two of the most popular green superfood powders on the market, Athletic Greens and Organifi's green juice. So green superfood powders are pretty different to just a regular multivitamin in that they are usually made largely from whole foods ground up into powder form. So both of these products both contain plenty of wheatgrass and chlorella and spirulina, which are really common ingredients in green superfood powders. And the idea is that they don't just deliver vitamins and minerals, but it's that they have a lot of antioxidants in them. That's really like the biggest claim that most green superfood powders make. Both of these have big claims about their antioxidant content. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, but first, the main question people ask me is, which one tastes better? So the reason that taste is one of the first things people ask me about these products is that green superfood powders have a bit of a reputation for tasting like soil, or like earth rather, like an earthy sort of taste. That's not an undeserved reputation. I've tried many green superfood powders and they do tend to have that taste, but I'm happy to report that neither of these products have that typical soily kind of taste that a lot of people tend to expect from these kind of products. Organifi, this is a product that has organic mint flavor in it and also matcha green tea. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there. There's like lemon flavor, there's some monk fruit and a few other things. But the main flavors that you get here are green tea and mint. So if you like a mint green tea, that's gonna be fine. It's still relatively earthy, but nowhere near as earthy as a lot of its competitors. So like you can expect an earthy green tea kind of flavor, but the mint really cuts through it and really definitely helps a lot. Athletic Greens, on the other hand, it is much less earthy than Organifi green juice and much less earthy than most of its competitors. The main flavors here, it's a very interesting concoction of vanilla and papaya and pineapple. Those are the main flavors you're getting here. So it's not like anything you've ever tasted before, but at the same time, it's like pretty familiar and kind of nice, you know? There are other things in the flavoring components here. There's cherry powder and carrot and broccoli powder, but the main flavors you're getting, yeah, it's definitely the vanilla, the pineapple, and the papaya. So both are fine, but I gotta say, Athletic Greens is the only green superfood powder I've ever tried that I actually like to savor it. Like I'll try to drink it over a long period of time because it really is very tasty. Organifi, on the other hand, it's fine, like it's inoffensive, which is like a pleasant surprise for these kinds of products. But yeah, it's just not as enjoyable as Athletic Greens. But of course, taste is very subjective. That's just my opinion. So before I get into all the ingredients, which is the real emphasis of these kinds of products, let's just take a quick look at the nutrition panel first of all, so we can get an idea of the actual vitamins and minerals present in one serving. Before I go on, I do want to mention that BarBend does participate in some affiliate programs and we sometimes receive products for free. If you want to read the full disclaimer, just check out the disclaimer page on our website. With that out of the way, Organifi's green juice, this is a nutritional supplement, right? But there's actually not much information here regarding the vitamins and minerals themselves. In one serving, it's 25 calories. You're gonna get 4 grams of carbohydrates with 4 grams of fiber. And the only minerals, vitamins and minerals we've got here are calcium, iron, and sodium. So no vitamins at all, just minerals. You got 3% of your daily calcium, 11% of your daily iron, which is like pretty impressive, and 1% of your daily sodium. So that's it. So for vitamins and minerals, there's not a ton to talk about here. Again, the emphasis of these products is typically on the ingredients. I'm going to talk about that in the next section. Athletic Greens, on the other hand, unlike many of its competitors, it has a pretty extensive nutrition panel here. So it's not the best source of minerals in the entire world. It does have 100% of your recommended daily intake of zinc, which is good. That's an important mineral. But the emphasis is mostly more on the vitamins, right? So there's 700% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin C. There's 80% of your vitamin A. There's 100% or more of most of your B vitamins, and there's over 300% of your vitamin E. So yeah, it's a really good panel of vitamins here. And there are a couple of like touches that some people might like. So for instance, there's vitamin B12 here, comes from methylcobalamin as opposed to cyanocobalamin, which some people don't like as a form of B12. They say it doesn't absorb quite as effectively, things like that. Just little touches like that people are gonna like. They have very absorbable forms of many of these nutrients. So when comparing the two, neither is an amazing source of minerals, but Athletic Greens, pretty decent source of vitamins. If you want to see a full breakdown of the nutrition panel though, just Google BarBend and Athletic Greens versus Organifi. All right, so let's get into these ingredients. Now, green superfood powders do really tend to emphasize their antioxidant content, although they also often throw in some other ingredients that could be linked to stress reduction and other effects that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But the main effect here is the antioxidants, right? So what antioxidants do is that they may reduce cellular damage associated with aging, also exercise, just general living. Just like oxygen can sort of like rust metal, oxygen isn't absolutely fantastic for our cells and it is responsible for a lot of the effects of aging. So antioxidants can sort of help to mitigate that in some respects. So when people say that antioxidants slow the aging process, in some respects it's true. That's like a bit of an exaggerated way to state it, but yeah, it can indeed reduce cellular damage. So To that end, both of these ingredients do contain wheatgrass and chlorella and spirulina, which are really common ingredients in green superfood powders. But Organifi is a little bit different, right? So there's only about 10 ingredients in this product. There is the wheatgrass, there's the chlorella, there is the spirulina. There's also some Moringa oleifera and some matcha green tea. Then there's some coconut water powder, ashwagandha root, red beetroot, and turmeric root. So what do all these do? Well, as I mentioned, there are those ingredients for the antioxidants. The other main ingredient that is advertised pretty heavily here is the ashwagandha. It's right here on the front. So ashwagandha is an adaptogen, and that's an ingredient that's also pretty common in green superfood powders. What adaptogens do is they could help to reduce the effects of stress and help the body to manage stress. And that's the same for whether it's a stressful day at the office or a stressful workout. It can sort of mitigate effects associated with that. So like a popular one is rhodiola, which may help to improve focus and also help to improve like endurance and time to fatigue in workouts. Things like that is just other sort of things that adaptogens are associated with. And although this does have a proprietary blend of its ingredients, so unfortunately, I don't know the exact amounts of every ingredient in here, which is a pretty common issue in green superfood powders. It's the second ingredient on a 1.45 gram blend, and a typical dosage of ashwagandha is about 300 milligrams. So I'm pretty confident that this does contain an effective dose of ashwagandha, and it could indeed, as the product claims, help with occasional stress and support mental clarity. So I quite like that. So those are all the ingredients in Organifi. Athletic Greens, on the other hand, this has 75 ingredients. There's a ton going on here. So I'm not going to read out every single ingredient here, but I'm just going to mention them, mention a few of the most important ones. If you want to read the full ones, again, just Google BarBend and Athletic Greens versus Organifi. I get really into the nitty-gritty in the full written review that I wrote. So what we've got here is, again, plenty of ingredients for antioxidants. There are also quite a few adaptogens here as well. So the ones that they tend to emphasize here, there is some eleuthera root, there's some rhodiola, as I mentioned, there's some astragalus as well. And there's also some mushrooms here as well, some reishi mushroom and shiitake mushroom, which are also considered adaptogens in some respects. So the good thing is that this contains more adaptogens than Organifi. But the downside, in my opinion, is that I'm not as convinced that the dosages are as effective. So like astragalus is usually dosed at like between 200 to 500 milligrams, but in here it's just one ingredient in the 154 milligram blend. You know what I mean? So I'm not as confident that it's going to be as great at the adaptogenic aspects. That said, there are a lot of adaptogens here. They may work synergistically. There are some pretty smart people at Athletic Greens, so I wouldn't be surprised if it has an effect anyway. But again, this is also a proprietary blend. I don't have as much information. There are the adaptogens here, there's the antioxidants, and the other main effect that the ingredients in Athletic Greens have are on digestive health. So that's another thing that's often used in green superfood powders. It's not in Organifi, so this is a pro for Athletic Greens. This doesn't just contain digestive enzymes like bromelain, which can potentially improve digestive health. Sometimes it's even used to help treat like ulcerative colitis and things like that. I'm not saying this product will treat that, but it is sometimes prescribed to help with nutrient absorption among people with impaired absorption of nutrients. So that could be a plus. Not just that, there's also prebiotic fiber, which to be fair, both products have. And prebiotic fiber acts as food for the bacteria living in your digestive tract. So that can have also some benefits to digestive health. But the main attraction here, in my opinion, the probiotic bacteria. So in the past, Athletic Greens has said this has over 7 billion probiotic bacteria in it, which is not the highest amount I've ever seen in a green superfood powder, but it's not the lowest. A healthy and a diverse population of bacteria in your gut has been linked to a really wide variety of health benefits, everything from immunity to potentially the way you manage stress and nutrient absorption, insulin sensitivity, all this kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. This contains, it contains a bacteria from 2 different families as well. So it's not just important that you have a lot of bacteria in your gut, but also that's from a diverse groups of bacteria. So the 2 different families is a pretty big bonus. So yeah, again, those are the main differences here. Both have ingredients linked to antioxidants. Both have ingredients that are meant to act as adaptogens, but Athletic Greens has a big emphasis on digestive health, whereas in my opinion, Organifi does a bit of a better job justifying the adaptogens. So obviously, a pretty big question people also have when it comes to comparing 2 products is, which one's the cheapest? Well, these both come in containers of 30, so that would be like a month's supply. Both are between 15 and 20% cheaper when you subscribe to monthly shipments and when you order more than 1 container at a time, like say if you wanted to get your whole family on this or something like that. But the price difference is still, it's pretty significant. So a tub of Organifi green juice is between $60 and $80. I didn't really need to emphasize that the prices of these products can change at any time for any reason. But right now, this is, between $60 and $80. Athletic Greens, on the other hand, for 1 bag, it's like between $90 and $110. Sometimes it dips below that, but yeah, generally speaking, you're looking at between $2 and $2.50 for a serving of Organifi, and between $3 and $3.50 for Athletic Greens. So yeah, there's no real argument here. Organifi is the cheaper product. All right, so which one's the better product? I mean, this kind of thing is pretty subjective, but they both have their pros, they both have their cons. They both have this issue that is pretty common in the industry in that they don't list the precise dosages of their ingredients, so it's kind of hard to know exactly how much of which ingredient you're getting, which makes it a little bit hard to know if they've included an ingredient because like it sounds nice, but they haven't actually put in an effective dose. With that said, I have a hunch for some of the effects that these ingredients might have. So I think they both have a decent amount of antioxidants. That said, neither of them actually quantified their antioxidant content, which can be done with something called the ORAC score. It's not perfect, but it's kind of what we have. Neither of them have the ORAC score, so I can't specifically say which has the most antioxidants. But I think they both deliver antioxidants, and when it comes to Organifi, I think this does a little bit of a better job at ensuring that it delivers adaptogens in the form of ashwagandha. Like I said before, this is closer to the beginning of a blend of 1.45 grams, and that does like meet and exceed the minimum dose usually recommended for ashwagandha to have these adaptogenic effects. Again, I would have liked to be like a bit more certain about that, but yeah, I do believe this has a decent amount of ashwagandha in it. Now, when it comes to vitamins and minerals though, there's just, as I mentioned earlier, very few vitamins and minerals on this listed. It's only an okay source of iron. Everything else is pretty low in. There may be some other vitamins and minerals, but they're just not listed in the ingredients panel. Athletic Greens, on the other hand, really good source of vitamins. Again, 700% of your vitamin C, 300% of your vitamin E, it just kind of goes on like that. Almost 500% of your vitamin B12. So this is definitely more nutritious from that standpoint. I'm not as convinced that it has a good amount of adaptogens in there. Again, there's a lot of them and they may act synergistically, but when you take a really close look at it and the studies associated with their benefits, I'm a little bit more skeptical as to whether or not Athletic Greens delivers the effective dose. Like, I'm sure it has some effect, but I'm just more confident with Organifi's effects in that regard. That said, digestive health, I think Athletic Greens really comes out on top. So it kind of depends on what you really want from a product, and Organifi is of course cheaper, which is going to be a factor, but in my opinion, I kind of prefer Athletic Greens. I think it tastes better. I think it has more vitamins. It has more for your digestive health. And there's a good chance that all these ingredients together may indeed improve the way you react to stress anyway. Again, I'm not as confident as I am with Organifi, but I like Athletic Greens better. All right, so those are my thoughts on Organifi versus Athletic Greens. I know that was a ton of information and I didn't mention all of the 75 ingredients in Athletic Greens. So if you want to read a more complete breakdown where I get a little bit deeper into the studies and the justifications of why I felt this way, just Google the full written review at BarBend plus Organifi Athletic Greens.